I think sometimes it's important for teams in the NFL to learn lessons from organizations that make mistakes. And what I'm referencing is the mistake that the Philadelphia Eagles made in 2011 and 2012. They started to get a little too free agency happy. They got a little too in love with the big name acquisition. And what they forgot about was chemistry. What they forgot about was camaraderie. What they forgot about was the right way to build the team ultimately in the NFL is you build it through the draft with your free agents occasionally being brought in to plug in some of the holes and bring something to your team. This Eagles organization over the past 2 years under Andy Reid became far, far too infatuated with the big name acquisition, the big name free agent, and they paid the price for it. And I think also in part it got to the point in time after 14 years in Philadelphia, the time had come for Andy Reid to leave. His message was no longer being heard. It wasn't being delivered well. It wasn't being received well. And he had just gotten a bit in over his head, created his own monster, and didn't know how to really emerge from it. Now Andy Reid is gone. The Eagles decided to make a splashy hire in the offseason and bring in Chip Kelly, the much buzzed about head coach of the University of Oregon, and bring him in and bring something different to the table in 2013 and beyond for this Philadelphia Eagles organization. Now, I think sometimes there's a bit of a misconception or a wrong perception that Chip Kelly's offense is all just about spreading people out, having that dual threat quarterback, running, using spread option, etc. Now, he did a lot of that at Oregon. And I'm sure you're going to see elements of that this year with the Eagles, particularly with Michael Vick as a starting quarterback. But Chip Kelly's system, as much as anything else, is about creating mismatches. It's about tempo. It's about timing. It's about accuracy in the passing game, which is something that Michael Vick may or may not be able to bring to the table in 2013. As a result, I'm going to be very, very curious to see how the Philadelphia Eagles start and play out this entire 2013 season. I think they're a team with a lot of intrigue and quite a bit of mystery to them because NFL teams aren't really sure what Chip Kelly is exactly going to bring to the table. They're not exactly sure how it's going to play out at the NFL level. They're not sure how they're going to be able to match up to it. And as a result, that could create an opportunity for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially early on in the season, to catch some teams by surprise and get out of the gates very strongly, which is what I think could very well happen for this organization in 2013. Now, on offense, it will be a little bit of a subdrama to see whether or not Michael Vick is going to be the starting quarterback for this team for the entire year. In a lot of ways, you might view him as a lame duck quarterback, thinking that after him, they're going to go after, or they're, not go after, they're going to want to put in a Foles or their fourth-round pick from this year, Matt Barkley, whatever the case might be. But as of this moment right now, it is Michael Vick's team. And in terms of what they ran at Oregon, Michael Vick does fit that, as long as he can stay healthy, that is. And that's a big if when you're talking about Michael Vick. But he is a guy that has gotten a little bit better over the past couple of years since his return from prison as a thrower. Not a lot better, but he has gotten a little bit better as a thrower. And he's still Michael Vick. He's still a guy that can create damage with his feet. He can still make some big plays on the move, on the run. And that's something that definitely fits right into the wheelhouse of what Chip Kelly did at Oregon. Now, you have, unfortunately, the knee injury of Jeremy Maclin, which takes away a big play down the field weapon for Michael Vick and Chip Kelly's passing game. You still have Deshaun Jackson there. You have a dual threat at tight end with Brett Selleck and Zach Ertz. So you have some weapons to play with. And obviously an all-around stud like LaShawn McCoy who can cause some damage in the running game and in the passing game as well. I think this is the Philadelphia Eagles offense, frankly, as long as, and this is a big as long as this team can effectively block with Lane Johnson being brought in as a first-round pick, they get some people healthy. As long as this offensive line can stay healthy, stay together, and gel well together, and they can open some holes in the running game, and they could do a better job of protecting Michael Vick in 2013 than they did in 2012. I think this is an Eagles offense that's going to surprise some people just in terms of their ability to move the ball, their ability to score points, the mismatches they could potentially create because of the up-tempo style that Chip Kelly is going to like to utilize. On the defensive side of the football, I do not think this is the strength of the Eagles football team by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a work in progress, in part because of all the effort and energy they put into drafting the same position, primarily the front four, for several years under Andy Reid with very, very marginal results. And the love of going after the big free agent splashes like the Asamoahs, trading for the DRCs, what have you, the Asante Samuels of the world. This is a defense that I think is in definite rebuilding mode. You know, they're going to need to get more out of this unit at some point, but it's going to be the weakness of this team in 2013, frankly. They might have that occasional game where they play very well, but they're also going to be those games that they're going to get shredded. Now, some of you may look at me crazy and say, why in the blue hell are you picking the Philadelphia Eagles to finish second in this division? Well, you always have a couple of surprises every year in the NFL. If you go just strictly according to how things look on paper and you pick that way, you're never going to be 100% right. You're going to have to guess sometimes, or you're going to have to go off of a gut instinct, a hunch, a feeling, whatever the case might be. And I just get that hunch in the NFC East. I think the Giants are on the decline a little bit. I think the Redskins come back to earth a little bit. I think the Philadelphia Eagles surprise some people because of the newness of what they're going to run, because of the scheme, because of Chip Kelly. In his first year, I think this is an Eagles team that's going to win 8 games, maybe 9, be the closest competitor to the Cowboys in the NFC East. And, you know, it could be some positive momentum this year building towards 2014, 2015, and beyond.